And Sean, who are you? Why are you here?
Yeah, my name is Sean Wynn. I am not a designer by any means, but I own a couple restaurants here in San Antonio. One named Pinch, one named Curry Boys. Got a couple fun things coming along, but most importantly, um, Canva is something that we use all the time to kind of help create a cohesive look when it comes to branding. And so I guess we can start from the super top. What is Canva? I'm sure that's a question a lot of people are semi familiar with. It's a pretty easy to use tool that is primarily most people will use it for branding or creating kind of designs. Um, and it's a great tool for beginners and non-designers to use to essentially create like clean, professional looking design, whether it's from flyers to social media posts to posters. You can do it pretty quickly and you can do it pretty easily. And like one of the greatest things about it is that it's free. And so you don't need to spend, money that you may or may not have when you're an early startup or something like that on a designer, if you're looking for something pretty quickly. So what we can do is we essentially, when you get to, this is kind of the main homepage of Canva. When you get to this place, what I would do is create like, I think you have to create a login or something like that. It's very, very easy. But like I said, it is free. The reason why you want to do that is so that you can save everything that you've worked on. If you don't have a login, then everything you're working on, obviously you have to start from scratch every time. So I think having a login is great. But before we kind of dive into what this homepage is giving you, I think it's probably important to go over moments when you should be using Canva and maybe moments when you shouldn't be using Canva. Um, the biggest obvious and most obvious reason on why you should use something like Canva is that it helps create that kind of consistent and cohesive look when you're going for something that has to do with your brand. So a lot of times, like branding can help you when you're a more nascent kind of startup because it gives you a look of professionalism. It gives you a look of consistency. And so when you're looking to create something, whether it's a flyer or a social media post or something like that, and you use Canva, it can help create the illusion of like professionalism, which I think is extremely important when you're trying to pitch something or when you're trying to show people something. Another reason why you should use Canva is, like I said, it's free. And so if you've had, I mean, outside of time, which time isn't technically free, but if you have the time to do something or create like a design, then I think Canva is a great tool because you don't need to be paying anybody for anything. And it's also extremely easy to use. Um, it's also, I would say, another time to be using Canva is whenever you are trying to pitch something. And I kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier, but outside of just social media posts and creating that cohesive look or branding, I think if you're looking to pitch something, rather than going the traditional route of like creating a PowerPoint presentation or something, you can create kind of this dynamic look, a more interesting look. And there are a lot of templates on Canva that can kind of create that pitch deck look for you and done in a very dynamic way, extremely easy to use, very low learning curve. I think last but not least, too, the great thing about Canva and why you should use it or when you should use it is there's a huge like photo image gallery that you can use whenever you're looking to put stuff into your Instagram posts or social media posts or flyers. And so they've got videos, photos, a large gallery that you can use at your disposal as well as things that you're uploading yourself. So if you're ever kind of at a loss for what you should be putting in on a flyer or something like that, a lot of these templates will have places that allow you to place images or things of that nature that are already in Canva that you can use. So, all right. And then real quick, when are there moments where you should not be using Canva? Which I think is important to be honest and real. I think if you're using Canva for everything you do, there is there's definitely the look that because Canva is free, there are a lot of other people who are using Canva. And so there's a likelihood that you start looking like other people. And so I think it's still important to have natural tone and voice in your branding and what you do, rather than 100% solely relying on Canva for everything. I also think another time that you should not be using Canva is if you can afford a designer for something like a logo, or if you can, or you're in a place where you have the opportunity to be able to afford a designer. I think there are moments where a designer can take that branding, obviously, that you have to the next level. And you shouldn't kind of be shunting your growth in that development. But again, that all kind of depends on opportunity. So those are the main two reasons why I kind of came up with when you don't want to use Canva. But that being said, we can kind of get started on Canva and how to use it. So as I said earlier, this is kind of the main page. It seems kind of complex and complicated, but it's actually quite easy. And again, I'm saying this from somebody who's like I'm not familiar with a lot of digital things. I'm not the most technologically advanced human. And I can kind of figure my way around Canva. So it is quite easy to use. The main thing I'll draw your eye to is this giant blue box up here. The reason why I always start with this blue box is because it's asking you, what will you design? Essentially, if you were going into Google and asking Google a question, this is the same thing. Is you're answering the question of what will you design. So you could search in here anything from a template that you're looking for, whether it's like you could say I'm trying to do a flyer, so you can type in like I want to make flyers, and it'll come up with 100 different templates for flyers. If you're looking for a certain style of something, you could type in something, and maybe or maybe you're not sure what kind of template you even want yet, but you want a style of something, you could type in like Western, and it'll pull up a bunch of different suggested templates from all over to give you that kind of style. And before we dive in a little even deeper, the main tenet of Canva is that it provides you with templates. So with that being said, it takes the guesswork out of where you should put pictures, where you should put words, how you should design them. So within all these different kind of categories of presentation, logo, Instagram post, flyer, whatever you're trying to do, there is a template that's provided for you. And there's hundreds of templates in each of these sections. And so going back up to the search box, you can kind of search whatever you want, and there's probably a template for that in the particular kind of category you're looking for. So we can give you a couple examples here. So like if I'm trying to do a flyer, what will you design? I'm trying to do a flyer. I can go ahead and type flyer in, just click enter, and it'll take me to a page with 59,000 different templates for flyers, which is like quite overwhelming. So that's like at the very, very high level, general level. Like if you type in flyer, that's kind of what you get. You can start whittling things down by being more specific in the search box. You can type in, like it says, real estate flyer. So maybe you're in real estate and now you've got about 24,000 templates. The biggest thing about these templates is like a lot of them will have similar vibes to them. They just might have kind of different preset values when it comes to where things are placed or where the words are. So you kind of want to find a template that fits exactly what you're looking for. And like I said, there's no shortage of templates to pick from. We can go a different route and maybe we search for something like you want to make an Instagram post. You can type in Instagram. Actually, I'll even go back to the home page. And we'll start back here. What will you design? We want to do an Instagram post. And it'll give us a bunch of templates to pick from for an Instagram post. And like I said, you can get as specific as you want. You can go Instagram post that's a sale. You can do an Instagram post where you're trying to do a giveaway, and they've got all these templates for that. All you got to do is kind of search for it. And so what we can do now is, now that you're kind of familiar with what this search box entails, we can kind of go through the rest of this homepage very quickly. So outside of this big blue box, and like I said, it kind of has presets at the bottom here where you can click through for each category. But outside of this blue box, everything else here on the homepage, consider it kind of like your home dashboard, if you will. It'll have past things that you've worked on, right? You can go to your projects and it'll tell you everything that you've been working on before. So you can kind of revisit templates that you've done before. Maybe you want to do like a July 4th sale if you have a retail shop and you did a post last year where you really liked that template, but you wanted to switch it up a little bit. You could go into your projects, find that template from before, make a couple changes to it, update it, you're good to go. And that'll take you maybe 10 or 15 minutes max. So that's why it's great to kind of have a login so you can kind of revisit old templates. You can also have straight to the templates page without really kind of searching at the top. This kind of takes you to the templates page where you can get further kind of different nodes of what you want to dive into without necessarily searching for it. So that's just another way of getting to the templates page with the filters all on the left-hand side. I like using the search function just because I typically know what I'm trying to create. But if you are just kind of like looking for inspiration, clicking that template page, whether at the top or at the side, is a great place for kind of inspiration. That way you can click on it. You know, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I know I need content for something. Let me see what people are doing, what presentations they've got, whatever it might be. So it is a good kind of place for inspo. Outside of that, I think the last thing I would say is you also have in this big blue box up here, these two kind of buttons, custom size and upload. I use these sometimes. This is essentially if you know exactly what you're trying to do when it comes down to the dimensions of something, whether it's a digital design or a physical poster. If you know you only have 45-inch by 35-inch space on a window that you're trying to do a window decal, you can click on custom size and it'll tell you to put in whatever you need to put in, right? It'll give you, if you want to do it in inches, millimeters, centimeters, pixels, whatever it might be. So if you have a digital or physical thing that you're looking where you know exactly what you're trying to do, you can just plug that in, type it in, and it'll take you to a page where essentially it'll give you that exact layout. But with that being said, let's go ahead and pretend to make a template for something. So let's say I'm in the real estate game and I'm looking to, I don't know, have an open house or something, and I want people to know about it and I want to post about it, or I want to send it out to my email list or whatever. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. So like I said before, I went in that big blue box, I typed in real estate flyer, and let's just go ahead and pick one that we think is going to be interesting. We've got one here that says open house, but I'm going to go a little bit further just to see what we have, right? Or maybe you're trying to sell something, sell a house that's on the market. So actually, I think this one's pretty cool. This one is more like or actually, let's go this open house. So you click on the template that you want. And when you're there, this is kind of what the design page looks like, right? So we went from the home page to the design page. Everything that you're looking for to be able to kind of edit this thing or to change things or add photos or whatever will be on your left-hand side right here where it says elements, uploads, text, logos, etc. Everything that has to do with the actual words or editing the actual photos that you need, you go ahead and just click on the actual template itself, which is pretty, self-explanatory. But now that we're here, it looks like a 2-page template. What we can do is essentially, the beautiful thing about these templates is that it gives us, like I said before, preset values when it comes to pictures and words or things that you may want to change, right? So obviously, like the top part, let's change it to, why should I say realty? If you guys had a team, right? That's where I would put in the title of what my company was, or what my name was. Here, right, obviously is telling us the title of what this home is called, right? So you could type in whatever you want here. You can switch it up. You can type your name here of building or whatever you want. You can change that up however you'd like. This is like a little byline. And so what I'm saying is all these things are kind of telling you what has been done before if this flyer was made for something else. And so all you need to do is kind of plug and play, right? Right here would be like amazing loft in the heart of downtown, right? So you can kind of say that, and you can change everything up down to, like I said, even the photos. So the cool thing about Canva is not only, like I said before, do you have a preset gallery with a bunch of different photos. So I'm going now to the elements section on the left. You can search for photos here. And there's so many photos to choose from for houses. So not only do you have this giant image gallery of preset photos you can pick, but you can also upload your own photos. So if you have photos that you've taken, go to the upload section. You can upload media. Boom, right? Plug in what you want, throw it in there, and then you'll be able to pick from your own uploads of what you want to add in. Obviously, I've got a couple restaurants, so I've got nothing but food photos and stuff. But if I was a real estate agent or something like that, I'd probably have a bunch of photos of houses. So let's say, and I'll repeat this for you guys so you guys can figure this out and see this. So all I did to get to the photos was I clicked on elements and I searched in this upper kind of like similar to Google, this upper little white box. You can type in home and it'll give you a bunch of preset photos. So now that we have the ability to search for photos and we have this template up, looks like there's 3 photos on this template. All you need to do is click on the template or the picture that you like. Then you can drag it in and replace the photos from before. Or if you like the photos from before, that stock photos, you can keep them in. But as you can see, it's as easy as dragging and dropping photos that you see here. And so I just added 3 photos, switching it up from what it was before. You can always undo it. There's an undo button at the very top if you don't like what you did or if you messed up on something. So like I said, it's quite intuitive. One thing to note is that you'll see there's like at the bottom here, this little button that says Pro. Obviously, if you pay for Pro, you'll get a lot more features. I think it's like $10 a month or something like that. Some of these photos are going to be behind a paywall. If it has a crown on it, it means you probably can't use it, or you have to pay like $1 every time you use it unless you have Pro. So I tend to just obviously ignore those. But there's also, like I said, so many preset values of images here that are free. And you can always double click on these images here to move them around so that they fit the template better. All you have to do, like I said, is double click, kind of move them around. Double click, right? I can show different parts of the image here. And another part of these templates too is that, like, once you have figured out exactly what you want, you don't, and you're comfortable with Canva at this point, you don't necessarily need to go off whatever the template says. You can change the color of these backgrounds by clicking on it, right? You can say, I don't really like this blue. So everything in Canva is like click, input, or click and change. So if I wanted to change something about this template, I would click on it. So this blue background, it's all highlighted right now. If you go up to this top line area here, you'll see there's like a little blue square. You can change this to any color you like. You can change it to black, blue, green, however you like. Very, very easy. And the cool part about Canva is that it recognizes what color you've chosen before. So if you decide to change this bottom block to the same color, right, I'll click on that block. click on this little square, it'll give you the colors you've already used before. So there's a section called document colors. This just means this is every color that you have already used in this template. So you don't need to guess. It'll tell you exactly what color you've used before. And with that, you can either save this template, or if you want to continue editing it, you can. So what I would like to do now is make this even more complex, even though it's really not. If we wanted to add stuff on here that the template doesn't even have, you can do that as well. So if I wanted to go in, I go again to my element side. The elements really just mean this is a place where you can pick from icons, photos, videos, or whatever sort of items you want to put in your template. You can find that in the elements section. So let's just say I wanted to add an arrow because I wanted to call attention to something. Same thing. I typed an arrow at the top. Click enter, it'll give me a bunch of different kinds of arrows. Let's click on the one that we want. I think this one looks cool. And I want to draw attention to this date and time. You can change the size, right? And all of a sudden you've got, boom, an arrow right there. You can move it wherever you want. But that's kind of the power of Canva, is you're able to kind of mix and match templates with things that that already exist, while adding to it if there's something you want to add. And one of the big things that a lot of people add is logos, right? So you can upload a logo. If I wanted to, get rid of that and use this as my logo instead of just the words, right? All of a sudden I've got, this is the name of my real estate company. We can obviously do that as well. So it's extremely versatile, very easy to use. Well, let's go through and maybe do one more example. I think one that's really popular would be a social media kind of Instagram moment or post. So let's go back to the home page. And we're going to type in Instagram post. And we're going to make a post for this fake real estate company that we've got here. So I'm going to pick one like, let's see here. Do something like this. This will be fun. So I picked a random template, right? This is going to be a Instagram post. And the way we got here was we searched for an Instagram post template. When you get here and you really don't like what you have, you can also change your templates from this little screen right here, or this little white box up here, rather than going back to the home page. You can search for Instagram post sale or something like that. And all the templates will show up on this side, on the left-hand side as well. So you don't always need to go back to the homepage. You can just kind of live in this world right here. And if you click on one, right, it'll just replace the one that you had before. If you realize you messed up, you didn't like it, you can undo it. So with that being said, this is our new template here, right? Maybe at the top we want to write, and again, I'm only clicking and pointing at what I want to change. So we can say July 4th open house, right? And go to elements because I want to change these photos because I'm doing a real estate thing. I'm not doing anything about kind of makeup or skincare or anything like that. So, but I can still use the same template. Maybe I want to put in some words find some photos for houses. At the top here, it's got subcategories of the kind of elements you're looking for. So I typed in house. You can either find real photos of houses, graphics of houses if I'm looking for something more playful, maybe videos of houses if I'm looking to make like a reel or something like that on Instagram. So there's a bunch of different subcategories for this one. I feel like I'm just going to do a static photo. So I'm going to click on the things and drag them to the squares that I want to switch. Right. And let's just go ahead and change this one to that. And so here's another thing too. If I wanted to just bring the photo onto the template and I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put it, you could just click on the photo and it'll automatically pop it in, where you can resize it yourself, right? Figure out where you want it to go. I typically kind of have an idea of where I want to put it. So I'll click it, hold it, drag it into the square that I'd like, and it'll replace it all for me, right? Now we can change these titles to be like downtown views or whatever it might be, right? Beautiful. So you can just type it and play around with anything you like here. Like I said, if you click on the background, you can even change the background if you really wanted to something crazy, like I want to change it to this architect blueprint. All of a sudden it looks like it's made for real estate. Whereas remember before it was looking kind of fun, playful, youthful. So it's a very powerful tool, like I was saying, for branding or for creating content or for creating flyers or awareness. And so I guess, is there a way I can check for questions so far? Is there anything?
There was some comments about, because Marie has an experience with the color, how it also states on your palette, like your logo colors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can show also how you can put the code, like if you already know, like.
Absolutely. So let's say we wanted to switch up some colors here. Let me go to another template with a solid color. Let's say we had a July 4th sale and we wanted to, wow, that's weird. We wanted to create a color code that we knew we had. It's pretty simple. All you would do is like you would go back into this corner right here.
Recording in progress.
Click this plus button. There's a section right here at the bottom. And so you can type in any code that you wanted, right? And it'll kind of take you where you need it to be. You could also pick a color from anywhere in Canva and it'll tell you what that color is. So all you have to do is you click this little dropper thing and it'll tell you what colors on the screen, and you can change it to that too if you see something like on a different template that you like or whatever it might be. But the easiest way to switch something up is to go in here and type it in if you know exactly what you're looking for the color. And so again, just to remind you how we got here, you click on what you want to change. I'm changing the background in this case. I click on this little blue square. Under the document colors section right here, there's a plus sign where it says add a new color, and you'll be able to kind of type in the custom color code.
Right. And then some of the features are for Pro, like it's just also like this might look a little different.
Correct. Yeah, this might look a little different. I actually have the Pro just because I use Canva so often that I think there's definitely some pros to it. For us, because we use Canva a lot for like specials that we might have at the restaurant or for events that we might be throwing, I'll use it a lot. And one of the cool things about Pro is that you're able to kind of create like these brand kits that you can use all the time. So it's almost like a template of a template. If they know what company colors we have or branding colors we have, it just automatically, you can change your template to match your branding template. So that's kind of why we use Pro.
The resize, I don't know if you can show like that. I think that's like
anytime you see a crown next to something, that's going to be exactly like you said. So one of the cool things about it is like you can from without Pro, kind of the template you're given is the size that you're kind of going to have to go with, unless you find a specific, unless you know exactly what you're going before you open up a template. You can remember, you can go to custom size. But here it's great because if I have an Instagram post that I want to make into a flyer, right, I can go ahead and just click or change it to whatever I want. And it'll kind of fit that, copy this template and resize it to the way I want. And so I think that is definitely a powerful way to kind of keep that consistent branding. Another thing with Pro, and I'll show you guys some of the stuff you can do, is that let's see where it is actually. Actually, this isn't even, I'm not sure if this is Pro or not. I'm pretty sure this is a new feature that wasn't here before, but I've used.
What happens? Changes.
Yeah, but I used this recently and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is Pro. I don't think it is, but if you have, like it says brand colors here, I think that part might be like the brand kit that might be Pro, but I think there are like preset color palettes. So if you ever wanted to do this same exact post that we have right here, but change it to a more like different preset color combos, there's a bunch, and you just click on it and it'll automatically change the colors of this template to the kind of a preset color. Or you realize, oh, this is too playful, I want something a little more earthy, right? Like more serious looking. You can find preset styles, and that's going to be under these three dots. If you click more, there's a couple other things there. And so I already clicked on it, so now it's popping up on the left hand side. But I can show you what it looks like before. So all I do is click on more, and there's a styles button here. Clicked on that, and then that's also like a pretty powerful feature. Rather than having to individually pick random colors to change up a template, these are all presets that go really well and are complementary to each other. So I think that's another huge plus. Are there any other questions?
I don't know if there's any other questions. We go up there. I don't know if there's any other questions for Sean or about Canva. You guys are welcome to raise your hand or drop it in the chat.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much the I would say the great thing about Canva is that because it's fairly easy to use, the more you use it, with just like with anything, the easier it gets to use. The good thing about Canva is that it's already easy to use, so the learning curve is quite low. But what I would recommend is spend a couple moments just messing around with it, creating fake templates that you want. And then once you kind of get the grasp of how things are, because again, everything kind of lives in one of two worlds. There's either like a home page where you can kind of go to what you need to do, or there's the actual editing area where I would say 95% of the time, this is the world you're living in. So just familiarize yourself with what this even looks like, right? This is what a blank template looks like. So even if you didn't have an idea of what you wanted, I would go to maybe a text section on the left, right? Click on what you want. You can edit however you want. You can change the colors of most things. You can even change the font of the preloaded templates of fonts. So you can do a bunch of different stuff in Canva. It really just comes down to what you are trying to achieve.
You have a question, and then I don't know if you went over how to download. Like
once you're done with it,
there's like download options.
Yes, that's a great one.
So if you can, how do you want to answer first the question of how to show how to removing a background and create features as a comment?
Yeah, so removing a background is quite, like I said, everything here kind of is a point and click situation. So if you want to change this background, I would click on it. You can either click delete / or backspace, get rid of it. And then it just becomes a blank canvas for you to do whatever you'd like. And you can go in there and change the color. or if I click on this, you can see how the entire square is the entire template is highlighted. So I know that I'm going to be switching the background. I can change it to any sort of element that I want. And that's a way to do it. Right now, I want to change this font so that it stands out. So that's kind of the way to get it done. But let me see what else people have said. Oh, saving it, right? So now, so let's just say this is what I wanted to save. This is my beautiful work. I'm Michelangelo. This is my work of art. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Can't wait to share this thing. If the very upper right-hand corner, there's a button that says share. So you can click on share. And there's a bunch of different options. You can share this design with yourself via email or something like that. What I typically like to do is I'll just click on download, right? And there's a bunch of different file types of what you'd like to download it as. If you're going to be using this for social media, keeping it digital, PNG is great. If you're going to be printing this out, like as a flyer, obviously PDF print or PDF standard are your strongest options for that. But you could save it as really any file you want if you know what you're looking for. It'll always give you a suggested setting, which I think is quite helpful as well. And there are some kind of Canva Pro options here, which I even with Pro never really use. But yeah, once you're done, all you do is click download. That file will show up as a download in your downloaded kind of folder. And then you've got that for perpetuity. You can either email that to yourself. You can share it directly with your friends. You can upload it onto Instagram. So again, just how we got here, I go to share. I go to download.
Or as like a Google Drive.
Absolutely. Yep. Right here. So if you have like you can send this click copy link, send this link to somebody to help review if you want of a partner to review your page. Now you have the link copied. You can text him that link, email him that link, whatever. Like you mentioned, Google Drive. So there's a lot of capabilities in terms of downloading, sharing, or using it or uploading. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else.
Was mentioning how like there's also an app.
Yeah, I have the app as well. I think she said this, and this is incredibly accurate. It's way easier to use on an iPad than on a phone because like if you've got like little minuscule details you're trying to zoom in, it's harder. On a tablet, it's probably easier. But I mean the phone app has helped me in moments where I needed to make a quick edit on something that I had already posted or whatever. So definitely use that app if possible.
Any other questions? You guys learned something?
Oh, sorry.
Any other questions you have? Do you guys learn something, or were you looking to use it for a specific use that we didn't cover today? You're welcome to unmute or drop it in the chat. Yeah, well, I mean, we should be able to see if somebody pops up. Okay, well, thank you so much. Just as like we launch SA, we use it, restaurant owner uses it. You can even use it just for personal use, invitations.
Oh yeah.
Like you can save money just doing cool stuff, or even just to share on your social media quotes, like whatever. I think it's just a good tool that you don't have to pay for if you're maybe not using it professionally, or if you just want to learn it before you start paying the monthly. Which if you're committed to using it, you should pay the annual, because it saves you like, I don't know how much percent, like maybe 20% or something.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like you said, it kind of comes down to how much you're using the pro features. But yeah, it's like solid 15-20% in savings.
Right. So maybe try it out, see if this is something you want to invest in, but for sure, like if you own a business, or maybe you're not that tech savvy, but you have somebody in your team that can help you. There's email headers, there's
Resumes.
resumes,
Mhm.
presentations, a pitch, like literally you can
Yeah,
just,
like we've used it for
Yeah.
pitch decks before, like right here. I've
Even
used it for invitations before, like you said,
right, like business card, like anything that you maybe want to see, like, oh, or maybe you have an idea and you want to like show someone, like, or even your logo and be like, hey, this is what I want, like the colors and everything, you can show someone and maybe have some, hire someone, like Marie mentioned, Fiverr is a way to hire, like, outsource that, but just use it, get familiar with it. You can share with your team, you can collaborate in it. So it's a great tool for, I guess, for just reasons of design and digital tool.
Yeah.
And really helpful. Thank you, Crystal.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Crystal.
Iris. I don't know if anybody has any other questions, you're more than welcome to email us. This is recorded. So if you want to review it and maybe log in and go through the steps as you see the recording, you can also do that. And just thank you for being here today. And we look forward for your feedback on the sessions and to catch you later at our next sessions. So,
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
thank you, Sean.